My name is Olivia Carlson, and I'm 30 years old. I'll never forget the day my family tried to take everything from me, not realizing I had already secured my future. I had always been the responsible daughter, the one who put in the work while my younger brother, Ethan, now 26, lived his life like a social media influencer. While he flaunted designer watches and trips to Aspen, I was at the office working long hours to help run the family business. Our father, Richard Carlson, had built a chain of luxury fitness centers from the ground up, and I had been learning the business since I was 17. Olivia, you have to understand, this business requires sacrifices. My father would remind me whenever I had to cancel plans with friends to stay late reviewing contracts. Meanwhile, Ethan burned through our family's money without a second thought. Your brother is young. Let him enjoy life. He'll mature eventually, my mother, Elizabeth, would always say, defending him. But Ethan never did. At 26, he still lived in our parents' house with no real job beyond his social media posts, while I was managing 5 of our most successful fitness centers, working 14-hour days. Everything changed 8 months ago when I met Noah, our new marketing director. He was sharp, honest, and quick to notice something troubling in our company's promotional strategies. One day, he stepped into my office and shut the door behind him. Olivia, he said, his tone serious. I've been reviewing the marketing campaigns from the past 4 years. Did you know your brother has spent over $3 million of company funds? My world came to a halt. What? He laid several documents on my desk. Influencer partnerships, sponsored content, luxury fitness retreats. Everything was meticulously listed under marketing expenses. He claims he's the brand's lifestyle ambassador, Noah explained. That night, I confronted my father. His response left me cold. I know, Olivia. I approved those expenses. $3 million in personal spending? Are you serious? My father removed his glasses and let out a slow sigh. Look, you have your way of contributing to the company, and he has his. That conversation opened my eyes. For years, I had worked tirelessly, hoping to earn my father's approval, but the truth was I never would. Noah became my confidant over the next few months. We quietly documented every irregularity, every questionable decision, every unnecessary expenditure. He also helped me understand something I had overlooked: my rights as a shareholder. As it turned out, I owned 30% of the company stock. Years ago, my father had structured ownership that way for tax purposes, never expecting that I would one day learn how to leverage that power. You need to protect yourself, Noah advised. Your family is treating the company like their personal playground. But that wasn't the worst of it. He warned me that my father was preparing to transfer significant assets, including my own condo. They're drafting documents to transfer the condo to Ethan. I froze. My condo? The one I bought with my own money? Technically, you bought it with your company's salary. They argue that it was a corporate gift and can be reassigned. That night, I couldn't sleep. The home I had worked so hard for, the one place I had built to escape my toxic family, could be taken away with a simple signature. But Noah and I had a plan. The moment of truth came on my 29th birthday. My family threw a lavish party at our parents' estate in the Hamptons. Everyone was there. My parents, Ethan, aunts, uncles, cousins, even business partners. During the toast, Ethan stood up, holding a crystal champagne flute that probably cost $800. I have a special announcement, he said, his bright smile beaming at the crowd. My father has given me the most incredible gift, Olivia's condo. The room went silent for a brief moment before the applause began. My mother was grinning with pride. My father avoided my gaze. "Isn't it wonderful?" Ethan continued. "Since Olivia is always at the office, she doesn't really need such a big place. I'll put it to better use." I stood up slowly. My heart was pounding, but my mind was clear. "You're right, Ethan. I am too busy at the office." I reached into my handbag and pulled out a folder. "And since we're making announcements, I have one of my own." The room fell silent as I opened the folder. All eyes were on me. Ethan was still smiling, completely unaware of what was coming. To him, this was just another corporate formality, something routine, insignificant. "As COO and a major shareholder of our fitness center company, I have a few important updates." My voice was firm, professional. "First, effective immediately, all personal expenses will require board approval, not just the CEO's signature." Ethan's smile wavered. My father straightened in his chair. "Second, I have initiated a full audit of the company's financial records for the past 4 years. I continued, locking eyes with my brother. "That includes all marketing expenditures related to social media influencers." "Olivia," my father interrupted, his voice tense. "This isn't the time or place." "Isn't it?" I shot back. "Didn't you just use my birthday party to announce that you were giving my condo to Ethan?" I turned to the guests, our extended family, business partners, and board members. "A condo I bought with my own salary after years of hard work." From the other side of the room, Noah stood up and handed out folders to the board members who were present. "Inside these folders, you will find evidence of corporate fund misappropriation totaling more than $3 million, I announced. Murmurs rippled through the crowd as I continued. "Personal expenses disguised as marketing costs. Luxury vacations falsely reported as business trips. Designer shopping sprees categorized as brand research." Ethan turned pale. "This is ridiculous," he sputtered. "Dad approved all of those expenses. I am the brand's lifestyle ambassador." "The brand's lifestyle ambassador," I echoed, pressing a button on the room's presentation screen. A slideshow of Ethan's Instagram posts appeared. "So let's take a look. Parties in Ibiza? Marketing for family-friendly fitness centers. $5,000 sneakers? Market research." My mother shot to her feet, her face red with anger. "Olivia, how dare you humiliate your brother like this?" I met her gaze, unflinching. "Humiliate him? The way you tried to humiliate me by taking my condo on my own birthday?" My father stepped in, trying to regain control. "This is a family matter," he said, his voice edged with authority. "I ask all non-family members to leave." "I'm afraid that's not possible," Noah interrupted, now fully in his role as our marketing director. "Since this involves potential corporate fraud, the board members have both the right and the obligation to be present." The next few minutes were pure chaos. Ethan was crying, insisting it was all a misunderstanding. My mother was shouting about family loyalty. My father was desperately trying to calm the board members, who were flipping through documents with increasing concern. When the noise finally died down, I cleared my throat. "There's more." I reached into my folder and pulled out another set of documents. "As COO and a major shareholder, I have made some executive decisions. First, the transfer of my condo to Ethan has been blocked. In fact, I have filed a legal injunction preventing any corporate property transfers without full board approval." My father's face darkened. "You can't do this," he snapped. "Actually, I can," I said calmly. "I own 30% of the company stock, remember? You structured it that way years ago for tax benefits." His jaw tightened. That was just a technicality, he muttered. I was supposed to retain actual control. A tense silence filled the room. Several board members shook their heads, scribbling notes. Thank you for clarifying that, Dad, I said smoothly. Anyone else care to admit to corporate manipulation? Ethan lunged toward me, his face twisted with rage. Noah stepped between us. Careful, he warned. Attacking a corporate executive during an official meeting carries serious legal consequences. Ethan froze, his fists clenched. You're just jealous, he spat. You've always been jealous of me. I let out a short, humorless laugh. Jealous of what? That you've never worked a single day in your life? That you've wasted millions on parties while I built this company from the ground up? Enough! My father slammed his hand against the table. Olivia, if you continue down this path, you will destroy this family. I met his gaze, unwavering. No, Dad. You destroyed this family when you decided that hard work meant nothing, that responsibility was a joke, and that my dedication was worth less than Ethan's selfies. My father stepped closer, lowering his voice. We can fix this privately. There's no need for the entire board to... I raised my voice deliberately. Oh, now you want privacy? After humiliating me in front of everyone? No, Dad. This gets settled here and now. I stood before the board of directors, my posture straight, my expression unwavering. The weight of years of hard work, sacrifice, and betrayal pressed down on me, but I refused to let it show. This was my moment, the moment to reclaim what was mine, to set things right. I took a steady breath and spoke with the authority I had rightfully earned as COO. I am proposing the following immediate measures. First, all personal expense accounts will be frozen until further notice. Second, an external audit will be conducted on all financial transactions to ensure full transparency. And third, the executive leadership team will undergo a complete restructuring to align with the company's best interests moving forward. The room fell into a stunned silence, the tension palpable. My mother shot up from her chair, her face flushed with indignation. You can't do this! You can't just push us out like this! She shouted, her voice laced with panic. I met her glare with calm resolve. I'm not pushing anyone out, I replied, my voice steady but firm. I am professionalizing the company I helped build, the company I sacrificed for while the rest of you treated it like a bottomless bank account. I turned to the board members, each of them watching intently, some nodding in agreement. Who seconds the motion? I asked. For a moment there was hesitation. Then, one by one, hands began to rise around the table. First one, then another, then several more, until the decision was clear. Across from me, my father slumped slightly in his chair, his once commanding presence diminished. He looked exhausted, like the weight of the years and the weight of his own choices had finally caught up to him. Ethan, who had been unusually quiet, suddenly switched tactics. He leaned forward, his expression softening, his voice taking on a pleading tone. Olivia, please, he murmured, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. We're siblings. We're family. How can you do this to us? For the first time that night, my voice wavered. I swallowed hard, forcing myself to keep my composure, but the words struck something deep within me. Family? I echoed, almost in disbelief. My hands clenched at my sides, and when I spoke again, my voice carried the weight of years of silent resentment. Where was family when I was working weekends while you were out partying in the Hamptons? Where was family when I canceled my vacations 3 years in a row to save the Chicago Center from going under? Where was family when you all decided that my condo, the condo I paid for with my own money, the home I built for myself, was just another asset to be gifted away? The silence was deafening. Noah stepped forward then, placing another thick stack of documents on the table. His expression was unreadable, but his posture exuded quiet authority. "There's something else we need to discuss," he said. "The personal accounts." At those words, my father's face went pale. He gripped the edge of the table as if he needed the support to stay upright. In a voice barely above a whisper, he muttered, "Please stop." But I wasn't going to stop. Not now. Not after everything. I squared my shoulders. "Why?" I asked, my voice sharp. "Because now everyone knows the truth? Because the board finally sees what's been happening behind closed doors? Because your plan to use this company as your personal piggy bank is finally over?" Tears streamed down my mother's face. She shook her head, her voice trembling. "Everything we did for the good of the family." I let out a quiet, humorless laugh. "No," I said, shaking my head. "You did it for yourselves. Because it was easier to give Ethan everything he wanted than to teach him how to stand on his own 2 feet. Because it was easier to misuse company money than to earn things the right way. Because it was easier to pretend the problem didn't exist than to actually fix it." The following days were brutal. The audit uncovered even more financial mismanagement than we had initially suspected. Ethan hadn't spent $3 million. He had blown through nearly $5 million. Lavish vacations disguised as fitness retreats, designer gym wear labeled as product testing, extravagant parties passed off as member appreciation events. And my parents? They had hidden personal accounts, quietly funded by the company for years, siphoning money away while I worked tirelessly to build our empire. The board wasted no time in taking action. They voted unanimously in favor of my reforms. Strict financial controls were put in place, ensuring no one, family or not, could abuse company funds again. A new professional leadership team was brought in to oversee operations. And Ethan? He lost his position as the brand's lifestyle ambassador. Days later, he stormed into my office, his face red with fury, his hands clenched into fists. "What the hell am I supposed to do now?" he shouted. "You ruined my life!" I didn't even blink. "There's an entry-level position open in the marketing department," I replied smoothly. "Starting salary, just like everyone else. You could learn the business from the ground up like I did." His face twisted in rage. "You're awful! I hate you!" I met his gaze unshaken. "No, Ethan," I said quietly. "I'm the only one who actually cares about your future." My parents eventually came to accept the new reality, though it took time. My father, after months of resistance, finally admitted something I never thought I'd hear. "I built this company from nothing," he told me one evening. "But you turned it into something better, something that will last." My mother took longer to come around, but when she saw Ethan finally working, really working, for the first time in his life, something shifted. To everyone's surprise, Ethan accepted the entry-level job. At first, he was bitter, resentful, but little by little, he started putting in the effort. And to his own shock, he realized that he was actually good at marketing when he truly applied himself. One night, my mother sighed, watching Ethan work late at his desk. Maybe we were too soft on him," she admitted. Now, 2 years later, Carlson Fitness is thriving. Ethan has finally found purpose beyond just looking good for the cameras. My parents have learned to respect the boundaries of business and family. And me? I still live in my condo, the one I worked hard for and fought to keep. It's not just a place to live. It represents my independence and the sacrifices I made along the way. But more importantly, I now run this company with the professionalism it always needed. There are no more blurred lines between family and business. I lead the company with the same dedication and focus I've always had, even when my efforts went unnoticed. Loving your family doesn't always mean giving in or letting them take advantage of you. Sometimes it means setting boundaries. It means making decisions that are difficult but necessary for your own growth. I had to step up and make the tough choices, even if they disappointed people I cared about. It wasn't easy, but it was the right thing to do. Noah, now my fiancé, has been a constant support through all of this. He wasn't just my marketing director. He became someone I could rely on completely. From the moment we started working together, he understood the situation better than anyone. The trust and respect we've built between us made all the difference. One piece of advice Noah gave me, something that stayed with me throughout everything, was, sometimes you have to prune the family tree so the healthy branches can finally grow. At first, it didn't fully click. But now, as I see how things have turned out, I realize how much that advice shaped my decisions. Letting go of the things that weren't serving me, whether it was family dynamics or toxic behaviors, opened the door for something better. The business is in a better place, and so am I. I don't regret any of it. What matters now is that I'm in control, and I've built something I'm truly proud of.